second chances in life don't always appear. And when they do, taking advantage of them is so important. And for Rutgers football, that's exactly what they have now with 2 games left in the 2024 regular season. 4-0 start, 0-4 October, winning 2 games in November so far, beating Minnesota and Maryland this past weekend. Now, with the table set for this team to still accomplish, I think, what reasonably was considered a step forward before this year started, to win 8 regular season games, to have your first Big Ten winning season since joining the league, and going to a better tiered bowl game, which that kind of works itself out, and there might be some politics involved there. But with all the injuries Rutgers has had, with the lack of competitiveness they had at times in October, the defense not looking like itself at all, the offensive struggles at times, to see how this team has responded the last 2 weeks has been extremely encouraging, inspiring, and a total validation in terms of the culture of this program, the character of this program, the leadership of this program being what we all hoped it was. And that's a credit to Greg Schiano, the coaching staff, the players. And now you have a chance to truly put an exclamation point on this comeback within a season. You face Illinois on Saturday, noon, SHI Stadium, Senior Day. They're ranked number 24 in the country. You have a chance here. You have a golden opportunity in front of you to end the program's 15-year, 40-game drought against ranked opponents, against a team that is very similar to yourself, on a day where you're going to be honoring seniors that have helped resurrect this program under Greg Schiano. The college football gods could not have written a better storyline for Rutgers heading into Saturday's game. Belima versus Schiano, great coaching matchup. And it really does give this team an opportunity, because David Anderson and I talked about it last week. You're 4-4. You come out of the bye week. You have to at least hold serve compared to last season. And what is that? That's 6-6 regular season, going back to a bowl, hopefully winning a bowl game. Rutgers has now assured that, right? But that wasn't the expectations coming in. Kyle Monungai even saying after the game against Maryland that that wasn't their expectation. They expected that. They expected to do better. Well, here's your opportunity to clinch your first winning regular season in a decade, to have 4 Big Ten wins for the first time since joining the league, and then setting yourself up for an opportunity to go to Michigan State and finish the season 8-4 on a 4-game winning streak. That would be certainly perception changing, narrative changing to where this team was just a couple weeks ago. And I know I saw some comments. There's still some people out there that said they still blew their opportunity to have a special season. But I think when you look at it in the context of, can they take a step forward? 8-4 regular season would be taking a step forward. Winning regular season in Big Ten play would be a step forward. Is it 2 or 3 steps that some people dreamed about? No. But the fact that we're even having this conversation now after the month of October is significant. And again, it's a second chance for this team to still achieve something notable and historic for the program. Whether that history and that achievement is as high of a level as you had hoped, it's still significant. And you have to achieve that step before you achieve other steps. Sometimes, it doesn't always work where you skip 5 steps like Indiana did. It also takes money, but Kirk Cignetti is a tremendous coach. Indiana having a historic season on every level. But this is Rutgers, and at a minimum, right, we were hoping for a little bit better season than last year. So what is that? That's 7-5, and they have a chance to bring it home on Saturday and assure that before you go on the road at Michigan State. And after that UCLA loss, after the way they played against Wisconsin, USC, this team was banged up, but they also just look kind of hopeless on defense. As kind of quietly the offense started to evolve, and now you've seen a complete mentality shift and extreme improvement in execution. And this team has taken a major step forward. And they have a chance to capitalize on this opportunity now. And it's really important that they do. I really think so. Because if you lose these last two games, it's going to take some of the luster off what these past 2 weeks were, right or wrong. And nothing will take away the internal fortitude that it took for Rutgers to get off the mat and win these last two games against Minnesota, who's going to probably have a winning record, and Maryland, who's struggling now, but still on paper, more talented in terms of recruiting stars, and also having beaten Rutgers the last 3 seasons, not even really having close games with them. It's significant. But now you have a chance to build off of that and make those 2 wins even more important. And I think the way this offense has evolved, Scarlet Knights obviously played a tremendous game, I thought, against Maryland, and just showed that, when's the last time Rutgers had to throw the ball down the field to take advantage of a defense's weaknesses? And they were able to do it so effectively the way Rutgers did on Saturday. That was just eye-opening and really encouraging for the future with Kirk Sherrock at OC, with Ethan Kaliakmanis still with a year left. This receiving core, obviously Demir Miller isn't his last year, but he's really come along. But Ian Strong is a sophomore, KJ Duff is a true freshman. They have some real talent at the receiving core now. You have freshman Ben Black, who had a catch. This program, this offense is changing. And it was just great to see the mindset shift with Shiraka and Shiano, and then also obviously with the players being able to execute. And that changing things up in terms of formations, 4-star sets. Once your tight ends went down, you've had injuries with offensive line. Kyle Monunga has been beat up, who was still, gutted it out and was effective against Maryland. But you're not just relying on him. If you look at last year's success versus this year's success, it's much more sustainable. It's much more dynamic. And it's going to make Rutgers a better program in the future if this is how they're going to play. It's going to make them more desirable for recruits. It's going to make them harder to prepare against. And it's going to give them a better success rate. So super encouraging there. And you play a team against Illinois that on paper is very similar to Rutgers. Rutgers actually, if you look like stat line to stat line in Big Ten, they're slightly ahead of Illinois in a lot of statistics. And it's going to be a battle. But, the line, I think it came out Sunday, was a pick 'em. This is a game, Rutgers fans should salute this senior class. They deserve so much recognition, praise, appreciation for what they've done, win or lose, for what they've done for the program. And now back-to-back bowl bids for the first time in a decade. That is significant. But you really want to see these guys be able to come through in this situation, because it would be very sweet to see it. We want that monkey off the back, that 15-year losing streak against ranked opponents, 40 straight losses. And it would just be poetic for this class to do it on senior day in front of the home faithful against a program that, you need to be in line with and ultimately hope to pass if you want to make a legitimate step up the ladder in the Big Ten. And Illinois has been a good program, but Rutgers is right there, I think. In terms of what they can be, recruiting wise, NIL wise, everything. They're. I think Illinois is a attainable goal in terms of a program that you want to leapfrog. And here's your opportunity to do it. And the ramifications of it are significant in a positive way. So second chances in life, they're rare. This team certainly deserves it with the way they've responded. And we'll have plenty more. I'm going to have an Illinois guest this week to talk about their season so far. I'll have David Anderson back at least once to talk about, obviously, the big win over Maryland, but also just in terms of this preview matchup for Saturday's game. But I just wanted to kind of give my thoughts just in terms of what this matchup means and how important it is for the outlook of the program. And just Greg Schiano's fifth year, you need to take another step forward, and at a minimum, if you win 7 games, you go 7-5, it's fair that to be disappointed, right? But at the same time, with everything that's happened, I think it's hard to be, for those that want to be like just roasting the program or roasting Schiano or angry, it doesn't make sense, right? Don't leave that on the table, right? Take it off the table. Win a 7th game. And then you win this game, you slay a lot of monkeys off the back, and then you go to Michigan State with everything to play for against a team that's been very inconsistent, struggled. I mean, they were, they lost by over 20 to Illinois on Saturday, and it's certainly a winnable road game and a place that Rutgers has won and has played well. So very intriguing November for Rutgers football after an extremely disappointing October. And just to reiterate, it's just so funny with fans for all those Schiano haters. Listen, there are Schiano haters out there, but to be critical in October was completely legitimate. And if you're critical in October and you're not heaping praise right now, then that's hypocritical too. Because they deserve it all. They deserve their flowers right now. And you just want to see them keep going, because the mentality that this team has played with the last 2 weeks, the second half particularly, they've been able to bounce back off adversity. They've played for each other, and you just get a sense of confidence in watching this team in the second half that they know they're going to win. They're going to do enough to win. The defense makes a play out of nowhere. You had the Tyreen Powell forced fumble against Minnesota. You had Shaquan Loyal, who just played out of his mind on Saturday, forcing that fumble on the receiver. That Jordan Thompson making a super athletic play to catch that interception, made a leap. Not a kind of normal position for him in terms of in the field. You wouldn't expect him to do that. And it just shows that this team is making something out of nothing. And that's when the vibes are good, when you believe in each other, that's when those things start to happen. And the offense, there's no coincidence that the offense has shown real strides these last 2 games. And it's kind of lifted up the defense. And even though the offense started slow against Maryland, once they started sustaining drives and moving the chains and just giving this defense support has just done wonders for the success of this team. And it's just a cohesive team right now. And to battle through the adversity they did, it says so much about this program, the coaching, the leadership, the captains, the veterans on this team. And you just want to see them be able to accomplish this as much as, bowl game, all that, of course, right? But to beat Illinois at home on senior day, slay the ranked Dragons, set yourself up to still win 8 games in a regular season. That kind of was like where I thought realistically, I mean, I picked them to go 8-4, but I felt like if they got to 8 wins, that was satisfactory in terms of the progress made, right? And anything under that was fair to be disappointed. Not a disaster, right? Obviously not making a bowl game would have been a disaster, but if you can get to 8 wins, you can justify progress. And with the circumstances they've had, it would be even more impressive. It's a second chance. It's a second chance after a very disappointing October, fighting through so much adversity. And here you are. Every phase of this program has taken a step forward the last 2 weeks. The offense, the defense, the coaching, special teams has been solid. Look at Jay Patel, 6 field goals in a row. The punting's been solid. This team is in a really good place right now, and you just have to keep chopping week to week. But this right now, this second chance opportunity to accomplish what everyone hoped they would accomplish, a Big Ten winning season, at least 8 wins, is all on the table again. You're back. You didn't think you were going to get back. People were questioning, fairly, I think, that they weren't even going to win another game. So to have such a dramatic turnaround 2 weeks in a row, to win the way in which they did the last 2 weeks, it's fantastic. It's really a satisfying thing to see as a Rutgers fan. And in a way, expectations were raised, then they were lowered, and now vibes are even better because things got so bad. But if you look at where we wanted things to be before the season, I think realistically, reasonably, asking for an 8-4 season, a 5-4, winning record in Big Ten play, that was a fair expectation. And they have a chance to accomplish that. And if they do, after scraping their way out of hell, it would actually be more impressive. And then let the chips fall where they may for the bowl game in terms of draw, all that thing. In a year where Michigan's going to go 6-6, it concerns me that they're going to leapfrog Rutgers in the hierarchy. Obviously, how many Big Ten teams make the college football playoff depends. The former Pac-12 teams will play their former Pac-12 alliances, so that's not going to impact things. But it's going to be interesting to see. The bowl game is always kind of a wild card, but control what you can control, and that's the next 2 weeks that you have an opportunity to truly put an exclamation mark on this season and the senior class. We want to see them go out super high, and here's your chance. And it's a second chance after no one thought they'd be here fairly. I didn't think they'd be able to respond the way they did and have, because there was no evidence on the field that they could. So credit to everyone associated with this program. And let's hope that they can deliver a signature moment on the season for the senior class, for Greg Schiano's 2.0 tenure. It's all on the table for Saturday. Every Rutgers fan wants to see them accomplish it. I'll have plenty more coverage leading up to Saturday's game. Like I said, I'll have an Illinois content provider on the pod. I'll have David Anderson here, full preview. Thank you so much for listening and watching once again here at the Scarlet Faithful Podcast.